The ability to swing from branch to branch does not make the baby monkey a baboon, but at least that is a start.
If you've ever seen a film with Pete Edochie in it, then you would understand this feeling. The moment the man walks into a room, regardless of what he's wearing, every other person in that room becomes a supporting character in that film. This is not meant as disrespect, but it's just what it is. You see, I don't know if this is about his voice or the aura or just the fact that this man looks like or sounds like he's an embodiment of thousands of years of wisdom. No matter who you are watching his movies, the moment you see him on screen, it's just like your body straightens up because you know you're about to have a feast. It's that kind of natural command of talent that cannot be taught in an acting school. And this is why I think Edochie isn't just respected in Nollywood. It's almost like he's deified. But the question now is, how did a random broadcaster from Enugu in the 1980s evolve to become what is probably the most respected living legend in Nollywood today? Grab a seat. This is going to be a very interesting story. You see, Edochie was born on March 7, 1947 in Zaria, Nigeria, which, if you're keeping score, that makes him older than the country itself. He's an Igbo man, and if there is one thing you need to know about the Igbo people, is that they love a good story. Growing up in that cultural environment meant that Pet was surrounded by proverbs. As the great Chinua Achebe once said, proverbs are the palm oil with which words are eaten. Edochie would later become the king of serving that palm oil. But you see, before Edochie became an actor, he was once a broadcaster. At just 20 years old, he joined the Eastern Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, ENBC, in 1967. If you've ever worked in broadcasting, you know that this is not the kind of job where you just coast through casually each day. It's a job that requires discipline and precision. And you also need a voice that can cut through the static and entertain listeners miles away. Edochie may have naturally had a deep voice, but his stint at broadcasting helped to polish it.
Look under the bed. Get me my ring and my box of incense.
It taught him pacing and also how you can make every syllable you say count to your listener. It's worth noting that Edochie also lived through the Nigerian Civil War. He was a young man during that brutal conflict, and surviving it gave him something that no acting coach could ever provide. It taught him loss and resilience, and these experiences would later inform his performances, especially his portrayal of Okonkwo, a character defined by fear of appearing weak.
You don't have to apologize.
For over 2 decades, Edochie worked in broadcasting, rising through the ranks to become the general manager of ABS. It was a comfortable life for him, but in 1987, everything changed and he elevated to the next level. Now, if you know anything about Edochie, it's possibly that he was the one that portrayed Okonkwo in the 1987 adaptation of Chinua Achebe's book, Things Fall Apart. When younger millennials like me hear that, it sounds like another fun fact. But no, looking back into history shows that his performance in that film was a cultural earthquake. You see, NTA at the time faced a serious challenge in finding an actor that could embody Okonkwo. They wanted an actor that would have the physical authority and a flawless grasp of Igbo language. They also needed someone who could convey the tragedy of a man who destroys everything he loves because he's terrified of being seen as soft. Now, enter Edochie, a 38-year-old newcomer in the industry. He was a seasoned broadcaster with decades of experience, and he had the presence of a man who had already lived several lives. Edochie blew the mind of his director. You see, his portrayal of Okonkwo was powerful. It was a performance so good that even the BBC had to send interviewers all the way from the UK to come and speak to him in Nigeria. In the 1980s, it was unheard of for a British media giant to send interviewers to speak to any actor in Nigeria. That was how important that role and performance was. So good was his acting that till date, there are people who still refer to him as Okonkwo instead of his real name, and that's not an insult. It's just a testament to how good he is as an actor. Even Chinua Achebe himself was so impressed, he put out a statement praising Edochie's performance, saying it captured the true essence of Okonkwo's character. If that's not the ultimate endorsement, I don't know what is. Let's talk about Edochie's voice for a second. Actually, let's talk about it for many seconds because it deserves its own accolade. You see, he has an extraordinary pitch and baritone voice, but it's not that makes it stand out. It's how he uses it when he's speaking.
Come on. I'm a friend of the police. If there's anything wrong, you ought to notify me, not barge into my house and request me to accompany you to the station. That's not very fair.
This is a speaker who understands tone, rhythm, vocal punctuations, and the power of silence when necessary. Edochie, as a speaker, has mastered when to pause and to allow the silence to do the speaking. And we see this many times play out in his performances.
How many times have I called you? Listen to me. Two things my father told me. One, never interfere with another man's wife. That's the fastest way to die, and many men have gone that way.
Anyone writing dialogue for this man knows that they have to bring their A game because delivering dialogue is one of his major strengths. Edochie is not one of those who delivers lazy dialogue, and that's one of the reasons even his own co-stars appear in awe of him. Because it doesn't matter who you are, as a seasoned actor, a director, or even a viewer, this man is going to make you listen to him. It's a kind of rare gift he has, where he can easily command your attention without even raising his voice.
Remember that man I told you, the one that lives in our house in Onitsha, that has been owing me for 2 years? You just told me now that the man has packed out of the house, locked the whole place, and he did not leave me one kobo.
What? Hey!
The truth is, every great actor faces criticism. Edochie is not an exception. There are people who have accused him of being typecast, of playing this stern chief or patriarchal father figure, always being a wise elder. If you look through his filmography, you will see lots of father figures, lots of chiefs, and it's true, they have a point. But this is a fact. When you look like Edochie, it's almost impossible for you to be cast as a village drunkard or a poor struggling father. Some actors are just born to play authoritative figures like Denzel Washington or Idris Elba. But that said, even Edochie himself has shown range when given the opportunity.
Don't you tell me say the woman a bad woman, Abi? I want me to just kill the woman like that. Maybe we just kill her one time. You say you don't come out from our life. Crying.
Mike, something is wrong.
Am I supposed to be crying? What does that mean?
Mike, listen.
Yes,
But that, by the way, even if Edochie limits himself to playing kings and chiefs, he's still going to be a legend. Because nobody in Nollywood does that lane better than him. You see, another reason Edochie stands out from his peers is that he doesn't just play dignified characters. He's a dignified person himself. In an industry that is loaded with scandals, Edochie has managed to maintain a stable and respectable personal life. Another thing people love and respect about Pete Edochie is he's infamous for his level of discipline. Edochie is also not afraid to speak his mind. He has publicly criticized certain trends in Nollywood. He's a man that believes cinema should elevate society. And this is one of the reasons he's probably the most awarded man in Nollywood today. If you're keeping track of Edochie's awards, you might need a separate notebook. For instance, in 2003, he was conferred with the national honor of Member of the Order of Niger by President Olusegun Obasanjo. This was the Nigerian government acknowledging that this man had contributed more to Nigerian culture than most politicians ever will. He has also received the Industry Merit Award from African Magic and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the African Film Academy. In 2023, at the age of 76, he received 2 honorary doctorate degrees, one in literature and one in the arts, from ISTM University in Togo, along with yet another Lifetime Achievement Award. If you want to understand why Edochie is so revered today in the industry, you need to understand Igbo culture. In Igbo land, being an elder is not just about your age. You could be 80 years old or 90, but if you lack wisdom, your opinion holds no weight. To be truly respected, you need to possess a deep knowledge of tradition and a plethora of life experiences to pull from. Edochie embodies all of these qualities. Even before he reached old age, we could already see the man carrying himself with such composure expected of an elder. He speaks deliberately and he projects the kind of authority that makes people instinctively defer to him. For many Igbo people, he's a quintessential example of what it means to be an Igbo elder. Then there is his use of proverbs. In Igbo culture, proverbs are vehicles that we use for moral instructions.
I cannot be the minister of justice in a country where there is no justice.
Then inject some justice into the country. That's part of your portfolio.
When Edochie drops a proverb in a film, it's almost like the ancestors are speaking through him. Edochie has also become a preserver of Igbo culture. At a time when many Igbo young people are losing touch with their language and traditions, Edochie's films serve as a reminder of what they are at the risk of losing. For older viewers, this kind of preservation is deeply meaningful. And for younger viewers, he's an introduction to aspects of the culture that they may not otherwise encounter. Now, even in the year of 2026, there are many people who still consider Edochie the father of Nollywood. Well, it depends on who you ask. There are some who lean towards Olu Jacob, there are some who think Nkemewo deserves that crown, and there are others who look towards the great Amaka Egwe herself. But there is no doubt that Edochie belongs in that conversation. He is part of the first generation of actors that shaped Nollywood into what it became today. In the late 1980s, his work in Things Fall Apart proved that Nigerian actors could deliver performances on par with anything produced elsewhere in the world. And then his transition from broadcasting to acting helped to bring credibility to a medium that was often dismissed as unserious. And even up to date, as a man of 79, he's also an inspiration to young actors looking to have a long and meaningful career. He is no doubt a patriarch of Nollywood who helped to build this house and also keep it standing for this long. And this all boils back to his legacy. You see, Edochie isn't respected because he has appeared in over 100 films or so, but mainly because he has maintained that excellence for close to 40 years. This is a man who has never given a lazy performance, hasn't had a major scandal attached to his name, and has never forgotten even his roots. With a filmography so vast and packed with germs, this man has set the bar incredibly high for young actors coming behind him. Edochie is Nollywood royalty, and we are just lucky to be living in his world. This man is an actor, a broadcaster, a father, a mentor, a cultural icon, and a living legend. Above all, he represents a lot that is noble about Nigerian cinema. Whenever he retires, if he ever does, he will leave a void that is almost impossible to fill. None of us can deny the fact that his talent has left an indelible mark on the Nigerian entertainment space.